Blessings. Good night. Well, welcome guys, welcome ladies and gentlemen, if there are any on. Welcome to Womb Wednesdays. Womb Wednesdays is something you know that we do every single Wednesday. Just connecting, talking about the reproductive system in some shape, way, or form. I ask you to please follow the Vagina Lady as well on IG. And on whoever has Facebook, I ask you also to follow us on Facebook. We're supposed to be putting something out soon that gives you like a discount if you have liked like all of our social media platforms or something like that. So that's something that you guys might want to get into from now, but we'll be putting that out at some point. Again, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. My name is, of course, the Vagina Lady, or Ramona Riley. I would love to start first with prayer, if that's okay with all of you. And then we're going to get into our topic for today, or tonight, I should say. I hope everybody is staying safe and keeping safe. So you can do whatever you usually do for prayer, and I will lead the prayer. Dear God, we thank you so much for the protection that we have had when it comes to what's going on around us, the virus and the way it's affecting the world. For those that it has affected, and if it has affected some of the people watching, we ask you to just bring support, comfort. These are different and trying times, and we just ask for the support and the continuous guidance and love that has always been provided. We ask you also to just bring healing, create a healing environment right now, and bring whatever it is that I need to express out. We thank you for providing this day and every day so far with life. Amen. Okay, so today the topic is infertility. And it's so funny because I feel like I talk about infertility all the time. Like I feel like that's always a topic. We're always talking about, infertility. So when I get a chance to talk about sex, or when I get a chance to talk about relationships, when I get a chance to talk about stretching and dance or whatever the case is, I'm always extra excited because I feel like between infertility and periods, it's like what I talk about mostly, right? So when it came to infertility being a topic this Wednesday, I had to really bring it down to the nitty-gritty. I had to take away the fluffs, the frills, the sugarcoat, the all of it, and just put it straight out on the table. It's not to offend. It's not to break down one's ego. It is just the reality. Because that's what I'm here for. I'm here for the guidance, yes. And with the guidance, sometimes we're told things we don't really want to hear. Sometimes we have to be reminded of the reality of the situation. So that's what I'm going to do tonight. Tonight, I am going to talk about infertility, raw, to the point. And then when I'm done, we're going to go into questions. Because there's actually no reason that I have to sit and talk about infertility for an hour. Because it is actually quite plain. Quite plain. So, what is infertility? And the word infertility is really quite negative. You know what I mean? Like fertility is a better word. Like, you know, let's talk about fertility. It's more positive. So infertility is going to be where it is difficult to become pregnant. Infertility comes in many shapes, forms, fashions. Infertility does not have a economic barrier. It does not have a race barrier. Infertility affects young, middle, and old. It does. Now, for some, like myself, we don't have that issue. Fertility is not an issue. I don't have one issue with fertility. Like, you brush against me and that's a wrap, right? But that's not everyone. And so when we look into fertility, we have to look at the root of this thing that is creating depression, marital issues, anger, pain, resentment. You know, like, we have to look down deep and figure out what is the root cause. So, like I've said before, and I'll say again, and I'll say again and again and again, right? Everything starts in the gut. Everything starts in the gut. So, we have to look at what is happening in the gut if there is a fertility issue. Now, the gut can be many aspects. And when I say gut, I mean digestive system. Okay? There can be many issues. There can be many different conditions in that and others, in other systems in the body. When it comes to the digestive system, mostly what we have to look at is, number one, is there enough good bacteria in my gut? That's important. Is there enough good bacteria in my gut? And none of these are in order by importance, by the way, please. So we have, do I have enough good bacteria, right? Another one is, how is my body removing waste? Because if your body is holding waste, that can create an issue why fertility is an issue. So what is going on with the waste? Another thing, the toxins. And a lot of toxins we're not even in control of, number one. Number two, a lot of the toxins that we get, we don't even realize they're toxins because we just think we're supposed to use this, you know, like bleach, for example. You know, like people use bleach regularly. Like, bleach is toxic. It's extremely toxic. When people have a issue with those types of things, those things definitely can affect the gut. So we want to make sure that between toxins, waste, good bacteria, and of course the lining of, for example, the colon and all of that type of thing. So the gut or what I should say, the digestive system is extremely, extremely, extremely important. So what are we eating? The things we're eating, do those things take too long to digest? These are things that we have to look at if fertility is an issue. Am I having a lot of dairy? Am I having a lot of, a lot of fake carbs? Look at your diet. Read your ingredients. So what can you do about like the gut and the waist and making it better and all that kind of thing to prepare it for pregnancy? Cleansing is always a great thing, and you can cleanse in many ways. You can do a juice cleanse where you juice for 7 days, 21 days, 31 days, however the case may be, whatever it is that you decide. I know some people that do a 3-day, but to be honest, once you've done the 3-day, your body is just starting to get used to it. So you might as well give it the more time and go to the 7, to be honest with you. Because just as your body is kind of coming out of the shock, a little bit of the shock, now you're going to shock it again with food, So I would say a 7-day juicing, a 21-day juicing, a 30-day juicing, and so on and so forth, if you're going to do juicing. And if you're going to do juicing, the juice has to be live. The fruits have to be alive, guys. You cannot go and buy the fruit in a bag, packaged, that's in the freezer somewhere in some supermarket. You can't. There are no nutrients in it. It's got to be live, fresh fruit and vegetables. Okay. So we also want to look on things like going to the bathroom. How often are you going to the bathroom? And a cleanse can also help in that as well. So it can help you to go a little bit more regular, and also it will be cleaning the body. Be careful with your cleanses. I always say this, be careful with your cleanses. A lot of cleanses clean the good bacteria out the body. That same good bacteria that I'm going to want you to put in your body. So just be careful about that, okay? Make sure that the person that you're getting it from, or when you look it up online or whatever it is that you're doing, talk about the fact that it does not remove the good bacteria, and the good bacteria stays, okay? Because if it's a cleanse that does that, it's going to say it. It's going to talk about that. Because at the end of the day, that's really like the bomb diggity, right? That's how I can show that my product, and when I say my, I'm just saying in general, that's how you can show a product that this product stands alone, you know what I mean, because it has this extra thing. So it's going to definitely be on the label, just like when they have like gluten-free, and that's like spread across the label because it's gluten-free, you know what I mean? So we're definitely pasting this huge on the label. Same type of situation. So as I told you guys before, when it comes to the fertility issue, the gut, the digestive system, the kidneys, the liver, the colon, all of it, okay? And between the waste, between the toxins, and just between the good bacteria or lack thereof, it can become an issue. Now, moving along, the next thing that becomes an issue, or would be an issue, is usually hormones, right? And these hormones can fluctuate all over the place in all kinds of different ways. And so that's what creates these different conditions, because it's this hormone that's higher, or it's this hormone that is deficient, or whatever the case is. So hormones create a lot of infertility, or should I say fertility issues. Some of the fertility issues are estrogen driven. So we're talking about things like cysts, PCOS, and endometriosis, fibroids. These are all things that are estrogen driven. So if your estrogen hormone is like skyrocketed out, then what are you going to expect? What do you think is going to happen? What's going to happen is that you're going to develop a condition that is connected with high estrogen. So women that suffer from PCOS usually have a harder time getting pregnant. Women that suffer from endometriosis usually have a harder time getting pregnant. So we really want to look at that estrogen level and really how high is it? Like how, like, you know, if you have cysts and you have fibroids, your estrogen level is crazy high. If you have fibroids and you have endometriosis, it's sky high again. I mean, a lot is going on. So in balancing the hormones, that will help fertility to naturally happen. Getting the estrogen where it needs to be, getting the progesterone where it needs to be. So it's kind of like leveled, right? We want it leveled. What we find sometimes is conditions like PCOS that sometimes have high testosterone. We also then have to look at that because it's usually a case, I would say 50-50, where a woman that suffers from polycystic ovarian syndrome will have high testosterone levels. So we're gonna have to lower their testosterone, lower the estrogen, and most likely, if those are so high, we most likely have to bring up the progesterone because it is probably deficient. Okay, so that is that when it comes to hormones. Now, with hormones being off and that creating a fertility issue, one of those issues that are created, that is created is going to be ovulation. Okay, and that is something again that a woman that would suffer from polycystic ovarian syndrome would have. Okay, she's not ovulating. So we also have to look at that, and we want to make sure that we're stimulating the ovaries and making sure that the ovaries are healthy, making sure the eggs are healthy, so that ovulation can happen. Pregnancy can't happen if ovulation is not happening. And when I say that, I mean that naturally. Like, pregnancy can't naturally happen with penis, vagina, this sperm come. It's not gonna happen if you're not ovulating. All of that will happen, but no fertilization will definitely not happen. So we want to make sure that you are ovulating. So between the hormones, the conditions that you get from these elevated or deficient hormones, and then ovulation, those are also things from the reproductive endocrine system that we would want to work on, right? For some women, neither one of those things are really the issue. For example, when I say that, let me explain. She doesn't have hormonal issues. She's not suffering from cysts. She's not suffering from fibroids. She's not suffering from endometriosis. She's not suffering from adenomyosis. She's not suffering from anything in terms of hormonal like that. But sometimes what she is suffering from is something called blocked tubes. And blocked tubes is that silent little thing that sometimes a lot of women don't really know is happening. They don't really know that they even have blocked tubes. So that is also something that we have to look into. And then what we have to do is we have to flush it naturally. We have to unblock it naturally. If there's damage to the walls or something like that, we have to build that back. So when a woman's tubes are blocked, what really is it blocked with, right? Like, what is it really blocked with? And a lot of times, it's either mucus. Hear me out, guys. Usually when a tube is blocked, it is mucus that it's blocked with, plaque that it's blocked with, or scar tissue. One out of those three things. Okay? So we have to figure out not necessarily what it's blocked with. Sometimes it is an obvious thing. You know, like the woman suffers from sinus. You know, she, has cysts in her breast sometimes. Or she has PCOS as well. And she has blocked tubes. We know that most likely it's mucus that she's blocked with. You know what I mean? And then for some women, if they have endometriosis or if they've had surgeries or something like that, then we know that most likely it's scar tissue. That's the issue. But we can slowly, gently peel away whatever it is that's there. I never recommend doing surgery on your tubes. Don't do it. 85% of the women that did surgery on their tubes still had to do IVF. The tubes are delicate. The scar tissue that comes around it after there's surgery there doesn't make any sense. Trust me on this. So, blocked tubes is very huge. And if you're a woman that suffers from, say, for example, endometriosis, you definitely want to do things to make sure your tubes are healthy. Okay, because of course the scar tissue can be connected all over the tubes, up into everything, connecting up things that it shouldn't be in the way it shouldn't be. Okay. And then if the tubes are blocked, that means that ovulation is probably not happening. So that again becomes a problem with fertility, because if, as I said, if we're not ovulating, then the fertilization is just going to be non-existent. I know that you guys have sent some questions, and to be honest with you, that's where it's at. That is really the raw, dry, nitty-gritty. Now, if you're suffering from painful periods, or periods that don't come all the time, or periods that last long, or any kind of thing like that, those are signs. So don't ignore the signs until you're ready to get pregnant and be like, well, my period don't come every month since I was 12. And your ass is 35. Like, dude, no. If you are 18, 19, 20, meaning you are somewhat of an adult in some sense, and your period is not coming every single month, we need to look into that. Something is wrong. Hormonally, something is off. And if you do nothing about it, it's going to stay the same, or it's going to get worse. Must. Leave a wound. Don't do anything. Don't clean it. Don't this, don't that. Just allow it. That shit is going to get like maggots and infested and all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff's going to happen. So the painful periods and those types of things, and the long periods and the missed periods and all these clots, and these are so many signs. The signs that hormonally they're not balanced. The three major hormones are not balanced the way they should be in a woman for your particular age. So don't ignore those signs. Because I have so many clients that come to me and they're now at a place where they are desperate. They want to have a child. They need to have this. They need to get pregnant. They feel like the time is like counting down. And the signs have been there for so long, being ignored. And can I say, please, this is just in general. In general. The signs in general. I don't care if it's reproductive you have. I don't care if it is psychological. I don't care if it's whatever. Nerve. If there are signs that something is off in your body, you don't feel so right, your eyelash feel funny, you know, your ear, this ear you can't really hear in so good, all of a sudden, this foot is swollen, this, that is that, whatever the case is, this is the body reacting, telling you that something is happening. And it can be that something is happening at that direct area where you're seeing this shift or this change. Or it could be that it is a different area and it's just manifesting in a different way, at a different location. So watch your body, listen to your body, trust your body. And to know all of this and to do all of this, you have to what? You have to know it. You have to know it. So that is probably number one thing. Know your body. And then we can go and get into all kinds of way of how we're going to help you reproductively. How we're going to get you pregnant. How that's going to happen. What do we have to do to make this be? To conceive this baby? Because I have some clients that come in and 3 months or less, bam, bam, they're pregnant. I mean, and I'm talking women with endometriosis. I'm talking about women with blocked tubes. I'm talking about women with PCOS. I'm talking about women with all kinds of condition. And then I have the ones that you go to the doctor and they can't figure out why you're not getting pregnant. Like, they don't get it. Like your ultrasound, your HSG test, your this, your that, your whatever. Everything has come out good, right? Your pap smear, everything is good. So to them, they're like, well, we don't know why you're not getting pregnant. Just give it some more time or something like that, right? We want to make sure that if it is that there is nothing wrong, like no condition, then most likely it is usually like a waste toxic issue. And as soon as we clean you, as soon as you clean, this is when a lot of women get pregnant because their hormones were thrown off just because there were so many toxins in their body. There was so much waste in their body. You know that there are women that have that poop like once every 2 weeks. Once every 2 weeks. And you eat every day, twice a day, maybe 3 times a day. That's insane. The digestive system is completely slowed down. It would have to slow down. It's crammed. So once we clean her, we find that it happens. And then for some, it's like, okay, now we've cleaned you. Your periods are better. This is better. That is better. All of these things. But pregnancy hasn't happened yet. And when that happens, then that's when we go into the fertility stage, okay? Or if she actually has a condition, then we will continue with the hormonal stage and move the hormonal and fertility and kind of mix them a little bit. Mostly hormonal, but we throw some fertility things in there to get that started, you know? But that is basically it. That is the nitty-gritty of fertility or lack thereof. The gut, the hormones, the ovulation, the tubes, what all of that is, the state of all of that. And a lot of that, the state of it is shown in our periods. So watch your periods. Watch your periods. Okay, so questions. We're going to go into the questions. Guys, please ignore my face. Please don't judge my face, okay? I have a peel on. I'm like trying to like... It's the first time I've ever done this, okay? So don't judge me. So my skin, everything is just kind of like looking kind of weird. So just be nice. No, I'm joking. I'm just looking... Okay, so someone's saying being fertile and still not being able to bring forth a child is even worse than not being fertile. Okay, so if you're a woman that is getting pregnant, which means ovulation is clearly happening and the eggs and the this and the, all of that is working and whatever, and the hormones are probably kind of balanced in some manner, okay? Usually when miscarriage happens, it is because of the uterus or waste / toxins, okay? So the uterine lining might not be in the best shape. The environment of the uterus might not be in a good enough shape for baby to live and stay. Your body could have been deficient of a lot of things already, so it couldn't manage. There are a lot of different aspects, but a lot of times it comes back to the uterus. So we want to strengthen the uterus. We want to tone the muscle. We want to create a happy, wonderful lining of the uterus. It's important. And that will help to not have the miscarriage that you would have. So I definitely suggest, like, drink a lot of red raspberry, girl. Like, live on it, drink it. Drink it like juice. Drink it like water. Red raspberry. It will really help your uterus. Ramona, can you speak on how sleep affects hormone balancing? Okay, so a lack of hormones can definitely... Okay, so it's really deficiencies that affect the sleep. So, and then deficiencies affect your hormones. So you really want to look into the deficiencies that you're having, right? The cravings that you're having. So I suggest you probably looking into that, and that can kind of help you to know what is going on. A lot of times just balancing the hormones with, you know, some herbs or some vitamins or something like that can help you to sleep better, okay? It could also be a nerve thing also. And when I say nerve, I don't mean like your nerves are like twitching out of control, but they're tense and they're not relaxed enough, and so you're not relaxing. I would say send us a DM if you're not sleeping, and we can send you some sound therapy for that, okay, to help you sleep. Is it possible to ovulate once a year? It's possible, of course. I mean, it's possible to never ovulate. It's possible to ovulate every other month. Is it healthy? No. And if you ovulate once a year, then of course, fertility is going to be extremely difficult. So we would want to do something about that to make sure that the egg is being released every single month. And usually you'll find a woman that ovulates once a year, she probably doesn't have a period every single month. Not all the time, but most times. I was diagnosed with endometriosis, fibroids, and blocked tubes. Did a surgery 1 year ago, but one tube still blocked. Yeah, so you definitely wanna lower that estrogen level. That estrogen, that liver is saturated in estrogen. Okay. We have a liver tonic that's amazing, actually. Really, 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 really good for cleaning the liver and strengthening it as well, you know, because of course we need our liver. I definitely suggest that as one of the things that you do. I would definitely tell you, don't do surgery again. Don't do surgery for endo. Don't do surgery for the fibroid unless it is like a ridiculous size, okay? And don't do surgery for the blocked tube, okay? Leave it alone. We can work it out. We can see how we can work that out. But I would not suggest surgery at all. How do you get rid of it naturally? I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure what it is. Do I help with pain management? Pain management in terms of your period? Yes, in a way. But what I try to do is I try to help with the deficiencies that's causing the painful periods and strengthen the uterus as well. And usually you find that when we have given the body all the minerals and vitamins and that type of thing that it needs, and then on top of that strengthen the uterus muscle and create a healthy lining, usually we find that painful periods are non-existent. We'll find that you know, those women don't have clots. You'll find that they're not having a lot of crazy what should I say, side effects or symptoms before the period or during the period. I'm 23 and I have no period. Okay, so 23 and no period. So what I would say about that, right, is I definitely would want to bring down your period. I would love to know if you're sexually active, actually. But that's not something you have to answer here if you don't want to. You can send me a DM about that. But to be 23 and not had a period yet, we definitely want to do something about that. There's definitely a hormonal issue going on there. Definitely. If you can get maggots in your womb. What? How long does it take for your products to work on PCOS when a woman wants to get pregnant? Okay, so every woman is different, guys, okay? There's no specific time for anybody. As I told you, I have women who have endometriosis who have been trying for 6 years to get pregnant. 3 months later, she was pregnant, right? There's no time to say this is this and this is that. But what I would say is that regulating the period for PCOS and creating ovulation, or helping ovulation to occur on a monthly basis, is what the goal would need to be to become pregnant. Okay. PCOS, for some women, it's like only like 5 cysts around the ovary. For other women, it's like 25 cysts around the ovary. So with some women, PCOS, they also have high testosterone as well. So now not only do you need to lower the estrogen, you also need to lower the testosterone. So every situation is different. If you're having painful periods, please, guys, come on. You do your red raspberry or your womb tea. You do your try a vaginal steam, see how that goes. For some women, it really helps. Do your magnesium. That really helps to balance hormones. There are things that you can do. Don't suffer with painful periods. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. Sometimes money is the issue to get certain things done, to fix certain problems that we females face. I agree with you. I agree. Which is why we want to be able to use all the different types of things that we can, that sometimes we don't have to be spending crazy money on alternative things. So doing a self-massage and massaging around your pelvic area, and you know, where your upper thigh would meet your pelvis, and massaging your breasts and those types of things. Those things there's no money. It's you just rub yourself. That's it. And it will be great. Great for your reproductive system. Because sometimes the reason why we have pain is because of liquid blockage throughout the pelvis. Maybe the back of the pelvis, the front of the pelvis, the side of the pelvis, some part of the pelvis. So even self-massage, the way we eat, and not eating all those meats and those types of things. These are things that we can do if we can't afford to, say, for example, you know, get a treatment plan from me. Let's say, for example, that's going to cost you about $100 US and up, depending on the circumstance or the situation. Maybe even more than that if you're going to include shipping and tax. Right? So making sure that you're doing your self massages, making sure that you're eating probably the things that you should eat more of, eating more of those things, that will help, because food should be our medicine. The food should be our medicine. That's what it should be. That's what it should be. How do you clear tubes naturally? Okay, so clearing tubes naturally comes in different ways. What I definitely do suggest is sending us a message, sending us a DM message, so we can figure out exactly what it's blocked with, and us knowing that will help us to be able to figure out what's the best way to go about that. Is it scar tissue? Is it mucus? You know, and then we say mucus / plaque, because they sometimes go hand in hand anyway. How can I help with PCOS? Well, I can help to balance the hormones. I'd create a treatment plan for you so that we can balance the hormones. So whatever the issue is, if it's a testosterone is high, we'd level it, we'd lower it. If the estrogen, well, the estrogen would of course be high, we would lower it. and just balance that out so that the PCOS condition that you suffer from would not be an issue. You would not suffer from that. Okay, how long after coming off Contrapill? I'm not sure what Contrapill is. I'm not sure what that is. I'm looking over here on Facebook for a second. Danelle, hi darling. Is it possible to get pregnant if you have one tube that is badly damaged from bad surgery? The doctor said only chance is IVF because it basically no tube at all. Okay, well, I mean, I don't know if there's basically no tube at all, then maybe. But usually if a tube has a small damage, and because we have two, you know, if one has a small damage and the other one is okay, or one has a small damage and the other one is blocked, we can do things about that to help to heal back the blocked tube itself, or to remove the blockage in the other tube, let's say for example. But if there's one tube and it is damaged, it's definitely going to be harder to get pregnant. But I would have to know exactly what that tube looks like to say if it's only IVF. I really can't say. Can you shorten your cycle from 35 days to 30 days? I used to have a 28 to 30 and now I have a 34 to 37 day cycle. Is that a sign of getting old? No, it's not a sign of getting old, but it's a sign of some hormonal stuff going on. So we want to do something about that. Okay, we definitely want to do something about that. There's no reason that your period should be 37 day cycle. That's way too long. Way too long. The last time I went to the doctor, they said my tube is blocked and also having a fibroid. Okay, so then we know that the estrogen level is high and then the tube is blocked with something. So maybe plaque, maybe mucus, you know, I'm not sure. What am I drinking? I am drinking green tea and chamomile actually. I have put on so much weight since January 2019 to now. It's completely ridiculous. And it's so crazy because I don't eat a lot of carbs and that type of thing, but I have been eating more meat now than I have in a long time because of course I had cut off the meat and that type of thing, and slowly picked here, slowly picked there, and now meat is like a part of my diet every single day, and it's literally have like puffed me up. So I am drinking some tea to help with my metabolism and digestion, and yeah, because we got to get that off. We got to get that off for sure. In my best, I mean, I weigh 160 pounds right now. I need to weigh like about 145 or 150. I need to lose at least 10 pounds, maybe 15 pounds. So yeah, so this is my tea towards that process. I have PCOS lumps in both breasts and missed periods. Okay, so if you have it in your breast, we need to do things and treatments for your breasts as well. We wouldn't just want to focus on the lower part of the reproductive system, but we'd want to focus on the breast as well, because of course that's where the issue is, and the breast is a part of the reproductive system as well. So that's definitely something that can be done. What is the reason for liquid fill ovarian cysts? Well, I mean, all cysts are filled with something. I mean, all of them are filled with something. Sometimes it is a fluid, like it's a mucousy, pussy kind of movement fluid. Sometimes it's blood. Sometimes it hardens. So it's not as liquidy, but it's become a little bit more, I don't know if I want to say calcified, but it becomes harder. So you have all kinds of different cysts, and they have all kinds of different liquids in them, and some of them are dried kind of, so it's not as liquidy, and some are like liquid like blood, for example. If a female has one of her tubes removed because of a miscarriage, can she become pregnant? Yes, she can. You only need one tube. You only need one tube. So for sure, she can. Where can I get red raspberry in Jamaica? Oh, you can get it from us. 10 Argyle Road, Kingston 10. We have it. Come check us out. Just send us a DM. And we can deliver to you if you can't come to us. What could cause lower back pain closer to the time of the month if you're close to your 40s? So the lower back pain, I don't think has anything to do with your age at all. I think the lower back pain has more to do with maybe blockage, maybe fluid buildup. And it could be, you know, how the pelvic, the uterus is tilted, and if there is a fibroid there, and if the fibroid is behind the uterus or inside the uterus or anything like that. So that can be a factor as well. But age is not a factor. But a lot of times the reason why we have back pain is because of fluid buildup. That's why massage is very good. Self-massage is very, 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 very good. Okay, and free. And very good. What can be done if it's easy to get pregnant but it's hard to keep? I would say red raspberry is something you want to be on. You definitely want to cleanse your body and clean it. I would say also to get on a prenatal vitamin that is plant-based or food-based. That would be very important as well. So that we can create the healthy environment. Because clearly it's the environment that's creating the issue. It is not necessarily getting pregnant. That's the issue. Can you get pregnant every month and don't ovulate? Can you get period every month and don't ovulate? You can. You can have a period every single month and still don't ovulate. For sure. How do you clear blocked tubes naturally? We would soften whatever is in there, and then we would gently peel it away. Pretty much, in a nutshell. On top of, you know, cleaning the body and blah, 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 and doing all of that. What is your treatment plan for BV? And do you also have treatment for the man? Okay, so BV, bacterial vaginosis, definitely have treatment for that. Now, bacterial vaginosis, I do the same treatment for BV that I actually do for yeast, funnily, okay, even though they're two different things. I would recommend to you, number one, the silver kit. Okay, our silver kit is a douche and inserts. I would also recommend probiotics. Probiotics, you want to get like 100 billion cultures. Okay, if you get the 50 billion cultures, then just take 2 of them. But you want to be taking at least 100 billion cultures every single day. Okay, that's definitely going to help with the yeast issue. And I would also recommend doing a vaginal steam as well. It will help. I mean, for the BV issue, sorry. I do a surgery for endometriosis and it doesn't help. Yeah, so the laparoscopy is there that you can do for endo, but a lot of times it comes back. And of course, it's a minor surgery, so again, there's scar tissue. So it's removing the scar tissue, but it's still creating scar tissue, but then it's making the scar tissue come back with like a vengeance, you know, because you've cut it, and so now it's like growing back like at this rapid rate. So we want to make sure that we don't do surgery again. Okay, don't do surgery again for endo. If you want help with endo, send us a DM. We can make you a treatment plan. Don't do surgery for endo again. You will be doing surgeries every year. Okay, and that's gonna just put a real toll on your body. Like, it's not worth it. I was in excruciating pain, so I did a surgery to remove fibroids and endometrius. Still have pain sometimes, but not as much. Okay, well, I'm glad that you're not having as much pain. Now, guys, remember, endometriosis, fibroids, cysts, any of these things that we cut out, they usually come back. So we want to make sure that we're creating a healthy environment. We want to make sure that we are changing the environment that the fibroid, the cyst, or the endometriosis was created in. Please. There's no point of doing the surgery to remove it, and then 2 years, 3 years, 5 years later, this thing comes back again. That defeated the whole entire purpose. I'm not sure what happened. Right? The whole entire purpose. We don't want to have to do that. So it's better to make sure that we clean the area and we balance the hormones. And that will be really important to make sure that the cysts, the fibroids, the endometriosis, or any of those things don't come back. Is there any such thing as mild PCOS? So is there levels or stages to it? Okay, so yes, there's some PCOS that's much worse. Okay, so you have some women that suffer from PCOS and they have their period every single month. Every single month they still have their period, right? You have some women that suffer from PCOS and what's happening? They suffer from PCOS and they do not get a period at all. Like at all. So it really just depends. So there are all different ones. There are all different stages. It really just depends. Sorry, guys. Yeah, it really just depends on the stage itself, or how severe it has become. As I said, there are some women that suffer from PCOS that have like 5 small cysts around the ovary, and it could just be one ovary, it could be both ovaries. And then you have some women who have like 20, 25, 30 cysts around that one ovary. So there are different levels for sure, 100%. If you don't treat your PCOS and it has been 10 years since diagnosis, is it dangerous? Well, I mean, it's not dangerous like it's going to kill you. PCOS, fibroids, it never kills you. But it just, the hormones are never going to be balanced back without doing something about it. If you're looking into fertility, for example, it's never going to work out unless you do something about it. Because yes, as time goes on, things get worse and worse and worse. So we want to make sure that we are doing what we need to do. So if it's been 10 years, don't make it be 10 years and 3 days. Work it out. Get it done. Can someone get pregnant after treating cervical cancer via chemo and radiation? What products do you have that can make pregnancy possible after treating cancer? Okay, so pregnancy can happen after chemo and radiation. It is possible. For some women, for some patients, no matter what type of cancer it was, it doesn't have to be a reproductive cancer. Sometimes their eggs is what becomes the issue. And so the eggs actually are not in a state to be able to fertilize, to be able to be moving, to be able to be doing anything. So what I would actually recommend is definitely doing things for like your gut, doing things for your immune system, and also doing things for hormonal balance. If cancer was an issue, the estrogen level is also very high. So please look into that, the dairy and the stuff from thing, look into that, okay? I really want to thank you guys for tuning in. It's always great. It's always a pleasure. Thank you so much. Please make sure that you're following the Vagina Lady also and our YouTube channel. Thanks again so much. We will be having a class tomorrow for men, so please guys check that out. Men, watch it, you'll learn a lot. Love and light to you guys. Bye.